Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here in our downtown studios, but we're going to run to an adjacent community right now, East Lansing, Michigan. We're going to spend a little time with one of our favorite people, Dr. Charles Ballard, newly retired from the Department of Economics at Michigan State University. Newly retired. Why does that sound awkward to me, Charlie?
Yeah, well, it does sound a little bit weird. I've been retired now for about 3 weeks, but as you and I were talking about, retirement for me and for millions of others does not mean that I just sit in a rocking chair and then go to bed. I'm still working on some research projects and doing a lot of volunteer stuff. So the days are packed.
And most importantly, you're going to continue as our ace economist here at the Michigan Business.
Most importantly, yes, that's at the top of the list.
Very good. Well, glad to get that down. But I was going to say, with your new designation, what is next? Did you have a plan, or I know there's a lot to do, and especially for quality people like you and your wife, June.
Yes. Well, we have 6 grandchildren, so that's part of the plan. Some people have asked us whether we're moving to Florida. No, we live here. We're Michiganders. However, I do think that we may find ourselves in a warmer climate in like January and February for at least a few weeks. I've got a paper that I'm working on now for submission to a journal, and there's a book that I want to write. And so I got a lot going on.
Plenty on the slate. I'm glad to hear that, because I don't want you to take up bowling or get into daytime TV. All right. These are
well, daytime TV. I agree with you there, but bowling, bowling, that's pretty good stuff, you know?
Bowling's coming back. Back, tell me. All right. Well, listen, last time we had you on, we talked all around everything except where the economy was going. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the U.S. economy, and then we'll back into Michigan's.
Right. Well, so, we've had a period of inflation higher than we had seen for 40 years, and the Federal Reserve responding to what their legal mandate is, that they are required to try to get some price stability. And so they have been restricting credit in various ways. They've been raising interest rates, and it certainly appears that it's taken some of the steam out of the economy, certainly out of the housing market. The housing market only a year ago was just white hot. I mean, it was crazy. And now it's still, prices are strong, but it's not like it was. The challenge for the Fed, of course, is can they squeeze the inflation out without pushing us into recession? And a lot of investors and economists only a few weeks ago thought that the Fed was maybe headed toward a soft landing. Then just very recently, Chairman Powell gave he made some pretty hawkish comments. We're going to stamp out inflation and we'll do whatever it takes. And investors reacted to that negatively. Markets did not do well for a while after that. So we'll see. I am still hopeful that we can either avoid a recession entirely, or if we have a recession, that it would be a very mild one. But boy, there are so many variables that come into play. You've got a whack job in the Kremlin who seems intent on causing as much problems for the rest of the world as he possibly can. Then there's climate-related issues. I'm glad that so far the hurricane season has been extremely mild. So, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Let's look at Michigan's economy.
I think we're chugging along like much of the rest of the country. In fact, some of the numbers for gross domestic product were better for Michigan than for the rest of the country. There's a lot of attention to negative real GDP for the nation, but Michigan was one of the states that had positive real GDP growth. So, we've been for a very long time a kind of a middle of the pack state. We rank high in some things, but in a lot of things we're in the 30s among the 50 states. I don't see that changing. I think that Michigan is going to probably continue. One thing that I like to always add, we talk about the U.S. economy. We talk about the Michigan economy. Of course, each of those is made up of all sorts of different stories. And there are folks who are doing great nationally and in Michigan, folks who are doing okay, and folks who are not doing well at all. The brightest sign for me is that the job market has continued, at least so far, the job market has continued to be pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, that we can thank slowed birth rate for that.
And the baby boomers retiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
And no immigration, or very little immigration. So those, you put those three things together and we got a tight labor market.
We gotta have lunch, Charlie, and talk about what we do about immigration. It's always good to spend time with you, my friend. Charles Ballard, professor, recently retired from the Department of Economics at Michigan State University. You have a good one, and we will be over lunch here soon.
Thanks very much, Chris. Looking forward to it.
All right, you're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman.